So the agenda for today, we'll start with my introduction a little bit. I'll talk a little bit more about myself. Then we'll go about discussing what product strategy is, how business is linked, how product strategy is more closely linked with business strategy, and how you go about developing it, prioritizing, and then maybe making your roadmaps. Move forward with the presentation as well. So what we have today, I think all of you are aware of it, that we'll be talking a lot about product strategy and roadmap. These are two different topics. Eventually, it ends up culminates into becoming your roadmap. It's about how you go about it. How do you deliver something, or what are the actions that you take? But what do you go about it? What is the it over here? Every strategy, like I said, if I have to run a 5K marathon, or if I want to launch my own YouTube channel, it's about an objective strategy that you do, product, business, whatever. Even my 5K marathon would have to be flexible and adaptable. Let's say I was running the marathon and I suddenly fractured my leg. I can't have the same strategy anymore, right? So any strategy will have to be flexible. It will have to be adaptable to changing environmental needs. So market conditions change, and now all of our roadmap has gone completely awry, and we're building a new one from scratch. So this is how things happen. Things change in real world. But you need to have the right frameworks to define strategy. If you don't, then you're definitely gonna fail. So what I want you guys to take from this is that a big picture thinking is very important. A strategy that will change tomorrow is possible, but you still need to know what your bigger picture is, so that even if something changes, you still know you're hitting the right target, hitting the right goal. And for any decision, for anything that you build, you need to have the right frameworks, which is what we will learn from this session as well. The next thing that comes into this entire journey is, how do we develop a strategy out of it? We know what we want to do, how we want to do it, but we know what we want to do, but how do we really build it across, right? What will be the key items that I'll be probably doing to get there? Again, coming back to the 5K example, if I am going to run a 5K, what are the three things that I have to do? Or like we said, if I have to reduce my weight to run that 5K, how do I reduce my weight? What are the three things that I need to do to reduce the weight, for that example? Gather your input, that what is the problem that I need to solve. So that's step number one while you're making your strategy. Step number two is that you analyze and set targets. So, okay, let's just take a recap quickly. We said we'll start with understanding stakeholders, or understanding their problems. Once we figured out the problems, we'll say how will we measure it, or how will we set up our KPIs. The next step is, okay, we know what our problems are. We know how we'll probably solve for it, or what is it that we will fix, and how will we measure it. Now you have to go back to your stakeholders and tell them, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. Are you all aligned with it or not? Then comes the reiteration of the product strategy, which is, like I said, nothing is set in stone. The market is dynamic, so are your users, so is your product, so is your strategy. So you have to keep changing it, have to keep reiterating it. We have gotten our KPIs, we have discussed it with our team, and we know what all is it that we need to do. So let's say I was launching my own YouTube channel, and I need to now decide the equipment that I need, like what mic, what camera should I buy. I need to know, where will I shoot my videos? Will it be outside, inside, where? And I also need to know what kind of content will I shoot? Will I, record? Will it be travel vlogs? Will it be about, I don't know, some kind of career stuff? Could it be serious, funny, whatever, right? So these are the three things I need to absolutely know to hit my target of launching a YouTube channel. But what do I do when? Should I buy the equipment upfront, or should I figure out my location first? Like, what should I do when? This is the problem of prioritization. And if I was starting a YouTube channel, what I'll do first is that, to buy the right equipment, I need to know, where will I be shooting? Will I be shooting indoors or outdoors? So I need to know my location first. But to know my location, I need to know what is the content that I'm making. Am I making a travel vlog or not? If I'm making a vlog, then obviously I'm outdoors. If not, then maybe I could be indoors, right? So figuring out the content is most important, so that the next things can follow through. And then once you know the content, then you do your location, and then you do your mic, and then you've gotten all three things together to do your launch, right? So first thing, before you start prioritizing, you need to know what are the answers that I need to give. Why do you need to know these answers? Because this is what your manager, his manager, whoever is coming will ask you. Okay, for example, I said, hey, we're gonna be working on feature ABC, which makes this color of this button go from red to a blue. My manager would be like, why is this the highest value item? Is it delivering some kind of value? What value? uh, uh, does it contribute to the bigger objective or not? If I'm able to answer all of these four questions that are on your screen right now, guys, then you can convince anybody that what you're working on is the right thing, and you can convince yourself. You can't, like again, I can't just go and say, today I had a dream that the button should be red instead of blue, and that's why we'll do it. That's a bullshit answer to do something, right? The answer always has to be like coming from a area of research. So the first one that we'll cover is the value effort matrix. I think it's pretty simple. You have effort low and high on the scale, and low and high value here. So I'll move to the next one, which is the RISE framework. The RISE framework is a little more, what do I say? It's a little more scientific. Okay, so going to the next one, which is now what we have is we have a prioritized set of things. We know how we know what target you want to hit. We know we have to, let's say, hit a goal of 100,000 users, or a goal of launching my YouTube channel, or a goal of hitting that 40 kg mark, whatever it is. We know where we have to go. We also know what are the things that we need to do to achieve it. We also know what is it that we need to do when. Right now, the only thing is just putting it all together in a document and making sure that people are following it, right? So roadmap is basically a plan of action. So over here, I'd like to actually, I've prepared a sample. Wait, I prepared it for you guys, a sample roadmap, um, which I wanted to maybe walk you guys through. So let's say, yeah, I was discussing the referring use case that I had, right? So maybe there were two work streams that I had: high number of referring partners and high number of referrals per referring partner. So I created these two work streams. Then I said, what is the metric that I'll be tracking for each of them? My roadmap has to be measurable, has to have an actual impact metric tied to it. Because how else will I track if I'm going in the right direction or not? One thing that I probably missed in this roadmap is also showing what is the current number of each of these metrics. That should also have been here. That referrals number of, for example, here I've said NPS should be 20, but I should have also added a field where I could have said that NPS currently is 10 or 5 or whatever, right? So that's another thing. Then you say, okay, to increase this NPS, I am doing a feature which is setting up the NPS survey, and this is a P0. If I don't implement this, nothing gets done. I don't measure it. It's like an absolute priority that I have to do.
This line I really liked: culture eats strategy for breakfast. Eventually it's like your culture, the way things are done is super duper important, because eventually it's people doing something, right? So like I said, take feedback, take service, take just get a buy-in for everything that you're doing, because eventually if you're not aligned with the people that you're working with, there's nothing really gonna change, nothing's really gonna happen. So be open to that kind of feedback from everyone across the table. And it's not that you have to be a pushover, that okay, you give me some feedback and I'll implement it, but consider each feedback and see if that really helps you move in the right direction. So yeah, I think that's the culture part of it. Questions, feedback, comments, anything is welcome. Again, like I said,
Yeah.
feedback is bread and butter for a product manager.